What's up, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads Daily, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined this morning by Daniel Starkand, here to talk a little bit about Walker Buehler's debut last night. There's a guy named Shohei Ohtani who's pretty good at hitting, it sounds like, and we've got a preview for tonight's game. But Daniel, let's start with Walker Buehler, because as good as Ohtani has been, the former Dodger ace coming back, not really sure what to expect. You were there last night. The final line: 4 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned, no walks, 4 strikeouts. Give me your impressions of what you saw from Walker Buehler last night and what stood out to you.
Yeah, well, if you just look at that line and you didn't watch the game, you probably, think he didn't pitch very well, and I think he didn't get off to the best start. But I think, considering it's his first start in 2 years, I think it was a really positive outing and one he could kind of build off moving forward. First of all, his velocity was up. He hit like 97.6 or something in the first inning. The average fastball velo was slightly up from when he last pitched in 2022. His spin was slightly up, and I know adrenaline, plays into that. But hey, when you're pitching in the big leagues, you're always going to have some level of adrenaline, especially when you're Walker Buehler and you just sat out for 2 years. So just to see that, I think, was good. He came out of it healthy, which was the main thing. And I think as the start went on, he got better, which is obviously great to see. Like, he struggled a little in the first inning, gave up a wall scraper homer in the second inning with I think the exit velo on that was like 98. So it's not like he was getting, destroyed or anything. And then he cut his last 2 innings. He settled down, started missing more bats, picked up a couple strikeouts, got a double play. So I think overall a really positive outing for a guy who hasn't pitched in 2 years. We'll see. I think I watched, the live show with you and Blake the other night, and you said, hey, we're not going to overreact either way to this start. We got to see him pitch for a month or so, and then we could kind of start assessing some things. And I'm with you on that. But for a first start and for a line that doesn't look great, as that one doesn't look, I think it was a really solid outing.
Yeah, and that was my key, right? Is give him time. The one thing I felt like we would be able to at least take note of in the first start was the velocity. And to your point, it's his first game back. He was clearly amped up. The fact that he's touching 97.6, averaging just a tick under 96 miles an hour on his fastball, to me, that was the biggest positive that could have possibly come out of last night. It's, how does the fastball look? And I believe it was Oral Hershiser, when they were talking to Clayton Kershaw on the broadcast, even talking about, like, yeah, he's got to figure out the breaking ball thing, but the cutter, the four-seamer, the sinker, they all were like, those pitches look good. So that's a positive. And then, yes, you can look at the box score, see 6 hits, 3 earned runs. But to your point, all 3 of those runs came in the first 2 innings. Obviously, it's understandable that he would be a little rusty, that the adrenaline would throw him off. The fact that he was able to settle in, get this one under his belt. He even said, like, now that the ceremony's over with, I could just focus on pitching. And so for me, again, I'm not overreacting, but I would say there were some positives in the form of velocity that I think are somewhat sustainable. Like, I mean, do you think we're going to continue to see a fastball around 96? Like, are you expecting that number to go up as he gets stronger? Are you expecting it to go down once he gets over the adrenaline of his first start and kind of learns to pace himself? Like, what are you expecting on that front?
I would probably expect maybe a slight decrease. I think just his first start back, he was even more amped up than he normally would be. And he's a guy who's always amped up. But, I think the fact that he was thrown that hard shows, even if he, is a notch down from that, that's still, I think, more than a lot of us were expecting for a guy who's coming off his Tommy John surgery. So I think the velo might drop a little, but I think that the stuff will be more refined. He'll find his command better, and overall, that'll make him a better pitcher. And the thing about it is, they don't need him to come in and be the ace of the staff right now. Like, the way Glass now and Yamamoto and pretty much everyone is pitching right now, everyone's doing their part, and that's all they need from Walker, is just come in on your start day, do your part, give your team a chance to win, and that's what he did last night.
It's a lot easier to give your team a chance to win when there's a guy named Shohei Ohtani in the lineup. Walker Buehler, after the game, called Ohtani the best player ever. And part of the reason is because Ohtani has now hit 4 home runs in his last 11 at-bats. He leads Major League Baseball in average. He leads Major League Baseball in home runs. He's top 5 or 6 in just about every single category imaginable. A 441-foot home run to dead center last night. A night after 464-foot home run to dead center. I don't even know what words there are to describe how good this is. You look at the Baseball Savant. I know that screenshot was going around yesterday. He's in the 99th or 100th percentile in like every single hitting metric possible. This guy's on a completely different planet right now.
Yeah, and I think the best way to describe him is exactly how Buehler did, like the best player ever. Like usually it's hyperbole when you say that about like anyone, but I think Ohtani's the one guy in probably all of sports right now where it's actually true. And we're seeing just a completely different level right now, even than, you know, some of his best years in Anaheim. So it's been fun to watch. I mean, I tweeted this. I was, you know, sitting probably the best seats I've ever had at a Major League Baseball game last night. I was like third row right behind home plate. And the sound off his bat on that home run, I think Joe Davis, like,
called it a shotgun.
even he called it a shotgun. Like it was the loudest thing I've ever heard. Like he's just a different animal than everyone else in baseball right now. And he's on a tear. It's fun to watch, obviously, like him going deep 4 times and 11 at bats.
Yeah.
You know, you don't see that too often, and that's not even. I feel like he even has another gear he could get to that he hasn't even reached yet. So it's insane. Obviously, he's not pitching this season, and that will make him, you know, even more fun to watch when, you know, next year and the years coming. So I'm excited for that. But right now, I'm just enjoying the show. You know, no pun intended, I guess.
If you look at his Savant page right now, 100th percentile in expected weighted on base average, expected batting average, expected slugging, barrel rate, hard hit rate. Those are all 100th percentile, 99th percentile in exit velocity, and 98th percentile in sweet spot. So I mean, the fact that one person has the highest expected batting average, the highest expected on base percentage, and the highest expected slugging percentage. Like that's an insane combination of 3 things all at one time. So Ohtani is incredible and continues to be. The Dodgers are back in action tonight against the Marlins. We will have a live post-game show, Scotty and I, tonight. Yamamoto versus Cabrera. We were joking right before we came on. The Dodgers, the level of favorite that this team is against the Marlins, who, as my buddy who's a Marlins fan put it, should be favored against nobody except for maybe the Rockies in Major League Baseball. The Dodgers last night were like minus 200. It's minus 298 on DraftKings right now. To win by 2 runs or more is minus 142. An insane thing. And it makes sense. Yamamoto on the mound. They were that big a favorite with Buehler, and you didn't know what you were going to get. Yamamoto's been fantastic. So give me predictions, sort of thoughts on this matchup and what you'd like to see from the Dodgers against the Marlins.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that they're a huge favorite. Obviously, the Marlins, you know, they lack talent. Let's just be honest here, and they just traded their best player last week, so not much going for them. But I will say, Edward Cabrera is probably their best pitcher right now, and he hasn't really limited runs super well, but he does strike out a lot of guys. So I would take the over for if you could find a combined line. I know some of the prize picks and such, they do combined strikeouts for 2 pitchers in the same game. I would like that with Yamamoto and Cabrera. With that said, though, I still expect, you know, a dominant Dodger performance. Yamamoto, he's been exceptional. Outside of that 1 inning in Korea, he's been, you know, pitching at an ace level. So obviously you hope that continues. And the way the lineup's been going, a lot of guys hot right now. Like we spent a lot of time talking about Ohtani just right now, but Dodgers hit 5 homers last night, and a lot of them were no doubters. Like it's good to see a guy like James Outman get one. Freddie as well goes opposite field. Like Freddie hasn't even really heated up yet. Like if he starts to get hot too with Mookie and Shohei doing what they're doing, then you know, this lineup is just unreal. So I would expect more of the same tonight and a good performance from Yamamoto.
Yeah, Cabrera, 30 strikeouts across 4 starts. His line on DraftKings is 5.5, and you can get plus money on the over there against the team in the Dodgers that, depending on who is out there, can be strikeout prone at times. So that could be an interesting one there. But yeah, it should be a good matchup for the Dodgers. Yamamoto has not allowed a run in either of his last 2 starts. 12 consecutive scoreless innings, just 9 hits, 3 walks, 12 strikeouts over that stretch. So you would like to think against a team like the Marlins, that number is going to continue. And so if you wanted to see like, okay, earned runs allowed, Yamamoto under 1.5 plus 120 is an interesting one. I mean, 1.5 is a very small number, but against the Marlins, like, you know, no Luis Arias, who knows? So should be a fun one. Again, make sure you join us here on Dodger Blue 1958 YouTube channel, because Scott and I will be live post game. Hopefully another short one, right? Would you say 2 hours and 20 minutes last night, Daniel?
Yeah, it was like the most action-packed 2 hours and 20 minutes you could hope for. Like, that's an ideal game to go for me. Like, I see 5-6 homers, Dodgers win, and we're out of there, and I'm home by 10. It was perfect.
I love it. I love it. So join Scott and I hopefully around 9:30 p.m. tonight for a live post-game show. We appreciate everybody joining us. That's Daniel Starkand. You can check out his stuff over at Lakers Nation. Some Lakers news coming down the pipeline today, so make sure you head over there. You can follow him on Twitter at @DStarkand. And of course, make sure you subscribe, ring the notification bell here as well. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks. As always, go Dodgers.